everyone, and welcome to the Choir of Elements, the penultimate episode. Before we go around and say hello to everyone, please check out our social links. Find our Twitter, Discord, and YouTube there, where you can catch up and be a part of the community and get your name on my list for next season's game. Send me a DM and I'll get you on there. Also, please check out the tweet. Yeah, the tweet, that's the thing. Go and retweet the tweet, let everyone know where you are and what you're watching. Let's get the signal boosted. And also, please check out our sponsors, the Deck of Many, who make the Deck of Many Things, for example. But also, they made Quaboom, the Humblewood campaign, which is being printed as of next month from November. So you can go and pre-order now. Yes, you can go and do that. Check out Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press, who also create third-party content for 5e, and you can check out Dark Matter on Thursdays at 1 p.m. where we play the Space Time Miwami campaign, in which Alice absolutely melts our brains. That's all of my things. Let's go around and say hello to everyone. Oh, hi, Danielle.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Good to be back. Sorry we missed last week, but we are back with a very exciting episode tonight. And yeah, we'll go around and let everyone introduce themselves. So we will go first to CJ.
Hello, my name is CJ, and I play Oxy. I play the fighter with a very interesting garment and a very interesting backstory. Oh my god. That's definitely looking forward to getting to start off the battle, or at least try to.
Next up is Holly.
Oh, hi, I'm Holly. You can find me at Sagephilia on Twitter and here on Tuesday evenings playing Cadence, very proper Dragonborn lady who's going to try to keep us all alive or possibly smash some people's skulls in. We'll see how we're feeling today.
Yeah, that works. Ren.
I am Ren, and I'm playing the very reluctant leader. Didn't say that in game.
We all know, though.
Of this merry band of weirdos and detectives. And for some reason, I have become some sort of chosen one of some sort of air god, and it's very confusing. But now we're going to go try to save a bird. Yay.
Yay. And lastly, Scrat, who are you playing today?
Thank Burback L'Orealien. I'm sort of the lovable rogue of the group. I like to try and con people into doing things. It works quite often. Obviously, I've come to realize, as I imagine most of us did early on, that Cassandra is in fact the main protagonist of this game, and we're just here to support her. So that's the best possible outcome, I think, really, is to just make sure that Cassandra does whatever they're destined to do.
Get really emo right here.
Pull it all down. Okay. It's been 2 weeks, so let's refresh everyone's brains on what happened last time. You all spent a lovely evening in Akka, and after you all went to the palace with this feather that Cassandra had received from the Windukes, and were admitted to a brief audience. The Windukes were appropriately creepy and weird. And they gave you 2 gifts, one of which took the form of a compass, which has been pointing you in roughly the right direction. And the other gift of a sort was this ship that just kind of showed up in the harbor waiting for you all. And when you went there and you guys took the ship and headed out hunting for this everlasting whirlwind thing that is supposedly at its heart a very large bird, the largest bird in existence, that is the guardian of one of the 4 Choir of Elements artifacts. And when you did get to the whirlwind, so that part was good, and your ship survived going through the whirlwind, which is also good. You came inside the whirlwind of about 100 feet below sort of the main action, quote unquote, where the bird itself is. We established that this bird is gargantuan, the largest bird you've ever seen. Every time it flaps its wings, you hear thunder and you see the lightning sort of spike out from the storm around you. And in front of the bird, or sort of circling the bird, moving as much as it can, is a small ship. And you can see what looks like a few figures on that ship. Every now and then, as you're watching, you can actually see, fire shoot out from the ship, or ice, various combat spells. It looks like you can also occasionally see arrows flying, and it definitely looks like this ship and whoever is on it is attacking this bird. The bird is called Thunderbeak. I did establish that last time, I think. And so you guys are about 100 feet below all of this, kind of looking up from underneath. And we did roll initiative last time. So just to remind everyone the order we are in, it is Oxy, Furback, Cadence, and then Cassandra is what we rolled. Somebody whose name is Oxy rolled a natural 20 for initiative. So far,
Somebody else rolled a nat 1.
So far, it does not appear that either the bird or the other ship has noticed your presence thus far. There's a lot of noise in here between all of the thunder, not the lightning, between all of the thunder that's going off. So until you do something to interfere with that conflict in some way, you're not terribly noticeable. Okay, so all of that being said, Oxy, you are first. What do you want to do?
Yeah. So considering we're not close to the ship or the bird yet, correct?
You're not. You are 100 feet away. I will say if you want to use, the ship can use your movement if you'd like.
Yep. I will let the ship use my movement charm action in this case, and I'm just going to try and get closer to a part, like the front of the ship, the bow, to see what's going on. Like, are we going for the ship? We're probably going after that ship, but can I see our target on that ship?
Sure. So you can use like I said, you can use your movement to move your ship 30 feet closer to the other ship to try to get a better view. Make me a perception check to see what you can see.
Just gonna make sure this is...
Cool. Okay, so you're still 70-ish feet away, so you're not terribly close, but you are, and you're kind of at a weird angle. But you're close enough to see that there are 3 figures on deck. 2 of them are blue-skinned and look fairly similar to the rider of the rock that attacked you as you were coming in from the plane of fire. You actually saw some of these beings in Akka as well, enough to know that they are a djinn.
Mm-hmm.
So there are Afridi in the plane of fire, there are djinn in the plane of air. The third figure is not a djinn, and is smaller than the 2 djinn. So the djinn are large creatures, this other creature is medium-sized. And it is this creature, this being, that is producing most of the magical effects that seem to be flying off of the ship. From this distance, you can hear what sounds like a male voice, but it's hard to tell for sure. You're still a little bit too far away, and there's a lot of noise in here.
Cassandra, I think I found our target. I think so. That one.
Yeah, Cassandra's like sitting there with the compass, which is like pointing directly at, I'm sure.
Oh, I forgot. I mentioned this last time, but as a reminder, you don't have a compass anymore. When you came through
you're right,
the whirlwind, the compass changed to shackles.
Okay.
Yeah, you do not have a compass anymore.
Then she didn't say that. She Indeed.
And let's see if I can disrupt with a longbow attack. Get the one shot off. It's the person casting the magic in the middle.
Okay. That is not going to hit.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And actually, what you see is you fire your bow, and you're pretty sure the shot was aimed quite well. You think it probably would have hit on a normal day, but today's not a normal day. And when the arrow collides with that figure, you see almost like a bubble of force around them, and it just bounces right off.
All right, gotta get in close, I guess. Wait till we're closer, then I'm gonna jump ships.
Okay.
That's me.
So next is actually all of them. So the so you see a couple things here. The first thing you see is that the bird, very similar to what the rock did to your ship, basically tries to swoop in and attack this this smaller ship. However, this ship, as I said, is not very big, and so it's fairly maneuverable, and the bird seems to be having a little bit of difficulty getting close enough to really do a whole lot of damage to it, or kind of getting its claws on it. You do see it kind of rake along the side of the ship in passing, but the blow doesn't seem to be too serious. At the same time, on the ship, Oxy, you can see that the person you tried to hit looks away from the bird and spots your ship. And they, you can see their mouth move. You're not really sure what they said. It's a little bit lost to the wind and the thunder. But you do see the two jinn, well, one of the jinn turns and starts to run toward the edge of the ship, whereupon he hops right off the edge and is now flying toward you. So he has he used a little bit of his movement on the ship, so he doesn't quite get to you this turn, but he's at least halfway to your ship.
Great.
Then the non-jinn turns back to the bird and casts a spell. You see it looks like a very basic fireball just hurled right in the direction of the bird. The bird is a very big target, kind of hard to miss. It lets out a cry as it gets hit. Making some notes here. And that will be it for them. Birdback. As a reminder, you can spend your movement to move the ship if you'd like.
Definitely. I'm going to be aiming the ship right towards theirs. And, I mean, as I recall, I was going at full speed. And I don't think anything will really stop me from doing that, really. And I'm going to look across at Oxy and, of course, Cassandra, because Cassandra is the leader and the main character. Yeah... We better watch out. It looks like there's gin over there. Spirited individuals. Could be whiskey business. Might have to make a run for it. But I'm going to bear down on them for now. I'm going to keep on driving towards them.
So Burback, let me ask you a question. With your movement, if you like, you can reach the djinn that's flying towards you, or you can choose to bypass them.
I don't have airship in my weapons thing, but if there's something flying towards me, I'm gonna try and hit it with my ship.
So you want to try to ram it with the ship?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do this. Roll a d20, and you are proficient with ships, correct?
Water vehicles.
Water. Well, okay. I'll stretch it. We'll say air vehicles too. You spent some time learning. So go ahead and roll a d20 and add your proficiency bonus, and we'll see where you land.
I have water vehicles as a tool that I can roll if you want me to just click that.
Yeah, actually, that would work. Okay. You ram the ship right into the djinn that's flying at you. This is unexpected. Let's say let's go with 8d6.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh, that's a nice roll.
Yeah, that's well
wow.
average.
Whoa. So you ram the ship into the djinn. It is alive, but you see it's definitely now pretty badly scraped up and bruised. When you hit it, it kind of tumbles away a little bit. And the ship seems fine. It's definitely the bigger object here. So yeah, nicely done.
I tell you what, after this, I never want to see a djinn on the rocks again.
Oh God.
Or Jin on the bow.
That's what I should have named this episode, Djinn on the Rocks. Hindsight's 2020.
Too late.
No. Okay. Anything else for you, Burback, or are you good?
No, I think I'm good actually, thank you. I'm quite happy just steering my ship around.
Okay.
Quite fun.
Cadence. It is your turn. You are still about 40 feet away from where the other ship is.
How far away is the rock from us?
The rock is, I'm going to roughly call it 30 feet. It's a gargantuan, technically, is the size class. It's real big. So it's a little bit closer in terms of like if you wanted to catch it on one of the wings or something.
So if I go 30 more feet towards the ship, will it still be within that 30 radius? The bird.
The bird? Yes.
All right, so I'm going to do that with my move, and then I'm going to cast Vitality with my action, and then I'd like to go ahead and use my bonus action to cast some healing at the bird.
Very nice. All right. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. 8.
All right. So 8 health points. It's not a lot, but it's a start, and that will be the end of my turn.
Awesome. Yeah, you do see the bird is pretty battered at this point, but you do see a few of its cuts and bruises kind of close back up, some of the scrapes on its face and everything. All right, Ren / Cassandra, what's up?
All right. Cassandra, who unfortunately went last, even though she had a very important thing to do, is going to finally, after watching all of this, cast Fly on everyone.
Yay!
Because the fancy air gods gave me that ability to cast it on
They did.
4 certain number of other people we determined last time would still apply.
We got it working.
On 4 people was the
Yes.
was the.
As I recall, you don't need to cast it on me because I've got wings.
Right. So Cassandra is going to. Hold on. I should click on it. Click on it. Click on it. There we go. Okay, it is. It's verbal somatic blah. do all the stuff, and then point to Decadence. And then look at Oxy. Kind of cock her head a little bit. Point
Oxy will
down,
point stomach
and then point towards the middle.
That'll work. We can hang on.
Point to herself. And now everyone. Oh, wait, no, it's touching. Whatever.
That's
We're a small ship. You go around and tap.
Tap.
Okay.
A flying speed of 60 feet for the duration.
Yes. So you have 10 minutes, which is like 100 rounds?
Well
No.
then.
Round is approximately 6 seconds.
6 seconds, so
Yeah.
10 rounds per minute. So 100 rounds.
Okay.
So you've got a long amount of flight,
So
at least in terms of combat.
I do that, and then I'm going to fly. Because it's awkward, because I'm not really a flyer, and I'm not really that, big fan of heights. I'm not going to fly my whole 60-foot fly speed. I'm just going to fly enough that I'm up off the ship, but I don't want to leave being above the ship immediately because I'm a little alarmed by the fact that maybe the spell could fail. I've never cast it before. Like, I didn't even know I had to, touch them. So then I'm just going to be hovering above the ship, look at the magic guy who's hurting the bird, and cast Hunter's Mark. And that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it for me.
Works for me, 90 feet. Yes, perfect. All of that happens, and you are flying now, which is a little bit unnerving. Even being above the ship, the wind in here is quite chaotic. So you are being buffeted around quite a bit. Not in a way that makes you lose control or anything like that. You are sort of in the eye of the storm, but there's still enough of a breeze coming off of the bird's wings, for instance, that it's a little uncomfortable. We are back around to the top. So Oxy, the ship is now, like I said, about 40 feet away from the other ship.
Great. But with that flying movement, what Oxy will do is if there's a caster there, gonna go do the somewhat no, it's in her nature. Go do the thing where it's like, let's go jump ships. Let's stop that caster. So yeah, Oxy will trust in Cassandra and the spell and what have you, and head to the other ship.
Perfect.
So process the fly and let's go.
No problem getting over there. That is well within your movement speed.
Right.
So on the ship, since you are now over there, you can see the caster is a young man who fits the description Emberlung gave you.
Fantastic.
Yes, and he is most of his attention still seems to be focused on the bird. At the helm, that's where the second djinn is right now. And when he sees you coming, he starts to pull his scimitar out of his belt. But it's not his turn, so you have your choice of what to do.
Oh well, the great thing is I'm going to action surge and go for the djinn, because the magic's doing the damage, but if I can pull the boat away, the airship away, I can turn him and bring him back in to our people, which gives me 12 attacks. Power of 6 arms. It'll be a fun time.
You've not really done a whole lot of this.
I haven't. That's because it's the power of 6 arms. So
it is the power of 6 arms.
What is that right now? I'm at 5. No, 6.
Ooh, there's a crit.
So there's total damage.
Okay, let me.
Oh god.
Tally up the ones that are hits. do you want to, since this is the penultimate episode, would you like to explain to the audience what precisely this looks like?
Okay, so what there is from the cloak that Oxy is wearing, two other arms stick out, one kind of midway, one slightly above midway and one slightly below midway in the body. And they're all holding short swords. And just swipe twice across the Jinn. And the cloak is just kind of flutters a little bit as three faces, one at the top, one about in the middle, and one at the bottom, all focus in on them. Halflings in a trench coat, baby.
So I tallied it up, and that is 66 points of damage from all of the attacks that hit, which is an awful lot.
I'm sure it's not enough to take them down, but
It is not enough to take it down. It is very unpleasant. Let's just put it that way. So he takes the majority of those attacks, and definitely is looking a bit scraped up now. But he's staring at you with a very grim look on his face. He's determined to get back at you on his turn, which, unless you have anything else you want to do on your turn, it is going to be.
Nope, that's about everything. 'Cause that's my movement, that's my action surge, and that's all my attacks I can take.
Awesome. Then in that case, so I don't have to keep turning around. Let's see here. Okay. He's going to take that scimitar and try to hit you 3 times.
Okay.
The attacks he gets. And let's see here, your plus is 14. Those are all going to be hits. So it will be 6, 5, 16 points of slashing damage and a little bit of lightning damage on the first one. 18 on the second one. And 17 on the third.
Okay.
He didn't quite give as good as he got there, but
I mean, still a decent amount to like drop her down to just above half.
yeah, he is not messing around, and he does not look pleased. Nor does he look terribly intimidated by your multiple hacklingness. Although I'm sure you could disabuse him of that if you wanted.
Oh, I will be.
Behind you, you hear the wizard, or the young man rather, chanting as he casts some sort of spell. Then you see, this time instead of a fireball, it looks like a blast of cold air that hits the bird, and you can see like icicles forming on some of its feathers. That is going to hurt the bird a little bit more. And the one back near the ship is actually going to board because it can get to you. It is looking quite battered, but it is going to go for Burback. Since Burback is maybe the person who drove the ship into him. So, look at your AC, Burback.
And that's a straight 15 at the moment.
15. Okay, so that's only going to be 2 hits on you. One.
Yay.
That's going to be 9 plus. That'll be 14 points. And 12 points for a total of 26.
I sort of take that on the chin and hold onto the wheel. Not very pleasant.
And Burback, you're next.
Does the ship need more steering for
Give
me
him L in
to...
return.
Beg your pardon?
Give him L in return.
Oh. Is the ship still on course for the other ship?
Not as such, no. So you crashed the ship into the Jinn, so you lost a good chunk of your momentum. It's still drifting, but it's not. You're a little bit off course at this point. Now you could choose to right that and continue toward the other ship if you want to.
That would be my action, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would say righting the course and that probably is your action. Had you not been, I would say it would just be your movement.
Oh, yes. Well, in that case, I don't think I can just let that go, really. So I'm going to draw my thing. I've got a thing, my rapier.
Okay.
And I am dueling right now, so I'm going to attack them. I don't suppose any of my friends are within 5 feet, are they?
Cadence is still on the deck of the ship, right? Yeah.
But I
So
mean, in terms of sneak attack.
You can get your sneak attack. Cadence is still there.
Cadence, you are such a delight to be near. I'm gonna have a slash. There's a 27 hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Great. I'm definitely flourishing my blade as well. I'm going to do a defensive flourish. So that's 26 points of damage.
Very nice.
4d6. So we've got 1. You know what? I miss when back in the day when you could highlight Roll20 and it just showed you dice rather than a shit ton of code. 1.
You making sure everything's there.
No, I'm trying to figure out what my blade flourish is. It was an 8. I rolled an 8 on my blade flourish. So since I did a defensive flourish, I deal 8 extra damage. The damage equals the number. You also add the number rolled onto your AC until the start of your next turn. So until the start of my next turn, my AC is now 23.
That College of Swords bard. It's real good. So, do you have anything else you want to do as a bonus action on your turn, Burback?
No, all of my spells are full actions, I think. Bonus action. Bonus action, I'm just probably gonna, Oh, in fact, I know what I'll do. I'm going to do an insight check, I believe, because I think I can do insightful fighting on them.
Ability.
Yeah, as a bonus action, I can make a wisdom insight check against a creature to try and get a bunch of advantage against it, so I'll do that. Terrible roll.
Let's see here. Well, they don't have particularly good deception, so let's see how this goes. That'll do. So it says you can use your sneak attack against the target even if you don't have advantage on the attack roll. And it lasts for 1 minute. So you get your sneak attack regardless of whether or not Cadence moves away. Which is great. Because it's Cadence's turn now.
So, Vivek, are you staying on the ship or are you flying off into the air? We're back.
Oh no, I'm staying right here.
All right. I'll also stay on the ship for now, and I'm going to go ahead and heal up the bird a bit more because it seems to be not doing so well. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Cure Wounds at level 3. So that's going to be...
Okay, you have to touch the bird for this.
All
Which
right,
is
I'll
fairly possible. You will just have to leave the ship.
float up. How close am I to it? Because we did go another 30 feet.
You, with your fly speed is 60 feet, so you have more than enough speed to fly up, touch the bird, and come back if you want to do that.
I'd like to do that. All right, so that's going to be 3d8 plus my spellcasting mod. And I'm also going to use my bonus action to give it another 2d6. My spellcasting mod is Charisma, which is a 3. I think that will roll correctly.
Wow.
That will get 20 health points back, and I will drift back down, and that will be my turn.
Very impressive.
Fortify the bird.
Fortify the bird, exactly. All right. That is it for Cadence. So we are up to Cassandra. You're hovering above the ship.
All right. Let's call him a mage, for lack of a better word. The mage. How close is he to either of the other djinns?
Are there the other djinns?
Yeah.
So Oxy and the second djinn are currently fighting on the deck of that ship.
Mm-hmm.
The mage is, we'll call it 10 feet away.
Okay. That was the number I needed. Or it wasn't the number I needed, it was the number I needed to not do a thing. Alright, then I am just going to whip out the crossbow. I've already got Hunter's Mark on the mage, and I am going to ping him twice.
Cool. Let's do it.
I got a 10 and a 22.
So the 10 is a miss, but the 22 is definitely a hit.
And that'll be whole 8 damage.
So you fire 2 crossbow bolts. The wind takes one of them, just kind of goes hurling off into the sides of the cyclone. The other one strikes true. You see it hit him in the back of the leg, and you hear kind of a sort of half cut off like noise as he wobbles a little bit from where he got shot. He's still standing, but he's now bleeding out of the back of his leg.
Cassandra's gonna just get a little bit of confidence and actually fly just a little bit closer.
Okay.
Die like another 20 feet.
20 feet?
Not that confident.
You are now hovering over the open air.
Yep. They're not break concentration.
All right, so Oxy, we're back to you.
Great. Not gonna use an oxygen surge, obviously, but I'm going to make my attacks, which are just usual back down to 6. Let me see here. I will be using the multi-form technique.
Nice.
So for anybody that's now able to see this, what is the tall Oxy breaks apart and makes multiple attacks. And then hopefully we'll intimidate afterwards to show them that yes, we are 3 halflings and we will actually beat you senseless. So there's all the attacks made.
Oh, you did pretty good there. The first one's a miss, but all of the other ones are hits. So that's 15, 20, 27, 32.
That's
He is not liking that very much.
Then reforms just like, yeah, back down, turn the ship around, or be taken prisoner by us and leave the rock alone.
He is bloodied, so you can see that you've scraped him up real bad. He's got a number of wounds from your short swords that are bleeding quite a bit, including some that are like up his arms and on his chest. When you say that, he shouts something in a language you don't understand to the wizard, the mage, who replies back in sort of a very angry, commanding sort of tone, and the djinn looks back at you with this sort of determined expression on his face. Okay, so it's their turn now. So once again, the djinn will try to attack you, Oxy.
Okay.
Let's see. Enough. That'd be enough. So that's 3 hits again. So that is 14 points of damage. 10 points of damage. And 16 points.
Okay.
Burback, the one over by you will also do the same. Try to hit you. You have an excellent armor class now, though, so this is going to be very difficult for him. He gets 1 attack through, but only 1. And that will be 18 points of damage.
Oof.
And then you can all see the wizard is still focusing very much on the bird. And he casts another spell. You can see what looks like necrotic energy, like rip up the wings of the bird. Okay. That is it for them. We're back.
Well, I'm not a very big fan of that. Them keep hitting me like. I don't like that at all. I don't think I can very much ignore that either. So I'm going to have to batter them senseless, I think. What are they attacking?
You did with the ship. You're well on your way.
What are they attacking me with?
It's a scimitar.
I'm going to cast heat metal on the scimitar.
Very nice.
Oh, I don't get all of that extra damage with that. I'm not flourishing the heat metal.
Okay, so any creature in contact takes the 2d8 damage. Can you break out the flourish for me and just give me the 2d8?
Yeah, it's just the bottom one. There's no
The bottom one?
sneak attack, flourish, or dueling style. I should have unticked all of them before I clicked it.
So he takes 7 points of damage. And I think he has a saving throw to make to try to not drop. Do you have a spell save DC?
17.
17.
Con save.
He passes, so he can continue holding on to his scimitar, but he will have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn. So you can see as you cast the spell, the scimitar in his hand starts turning red, and you hear a sort of hissing, sizzling noise where he is gripping it, but he doesn't let go.
Heat metal is an action, so
Yeah, so you have your bonus action still if there's anything else you want to do.
No, I think I'm good actually.
Okay. Then in that case, Cadence, we have come around to you again.
How's the bird looking? Is it still looking pretty rough, or is it looking sort of decent?
The bird is still looking pretty rough. I mean, the bird was looking rough when you got here. It is now looking even with the healing you've pumped into it, it is looking substantially worse.
All right, so saying that healing it is probably not going to be a sustainable sort of action, can I fly reach the wizard who's casting all these spells?
You absolutely can fly and reach the wizard.
All right, so I'd like to do a flyby heal on the bird with my bonus action.
Okay.
So that's going to be 2d6. So that's going to be another 8 healing points into the bird.
Okay.
And then I'm going to attempt to smack the crap out of the wizards with my sword. And I'd like to roll the first attack with advantage and use one of my advantage gifts.
Awesome. Go for it.
Okay. So that's
Ooh,
just
yes, absolutely.
to hit normally, and then my extra attack I'm also going to... Alright, that's probably not going to hit the 11.
The second attack doesn't have advantage, right?
No.
So then the second attack is a miss.
All right.
But that first attack is absolutely a hit.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that smiting thing I do.
Nice.
So it's going to be that plus... 1d8 plus... I'm going to do this at 3rd level, so it's 2d8, 3d8, 4d8. So that's going to be 5d8 total. 4d8 of it will be radiant damage. Alright, so that's going to be a lot in total. 41, I believe. 12 slashing and most of it except 7. It's going... No, all the rest of it is holy damage. And
very battered.
that will be my turn. I should note I'm not trying to kill this poor man, but I am trying to make him lose all of his concentration spells and be really focused on me. If I can take up as much of his view as possible, I want to try to do that.
You can absolutely try to interpose yourself directly into his line of sight, for sure.
Paladin.
Protect the bird. All right, Cassandra.
So now that my good friend Paladin has got right up in there with the mage, Cassandra is actually going to fly to the bird.
Okay.
With a fly speed of 60, can I make it to the bird?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Cassandra is going to fly to the bird, put out her hand. If the bird looks like it's gonna try to bite me, I'm not going to. But if there's no resistance, Cassandra will touch the bird and cast Cure Wounds.
The bird is not resisting. In fact, the bird you don't think is terribly focused on you right now.
Okay.
Since it is getting pummeled. I haven't said anything in the last turns, but it is still trying kind of futilely to scrape the ship and damage it with minimal amounts of success.
Well, let's ignore that 6, but it'll be 19 healing.
19 healing? Okay.
And then I'll just turn to face mage, and that's my turn.
All right.
I guess I'm also kind of interposing, but I'm smaller than Cadence.
All right. Oxy, we are back to you. Cassandra and Cadence have joined you on the ship.
Oh, good. Because, yeah, Oxy's not doing good. She's past bloodied. She's yeah. One more strong hit from the Jinn and she'd be down.
Well, it is your turn.
Yes, let's see here. Not that. I was looking for, because there's one I can... I will use some Second Wind.
Okay.
So let's hopefully add something to this at least. I was trying to remember the roll command for a d10. Or I can just roll one of these, can I? No, it doesn't let me, dang it. There we go.
All right, nice.
Hopefully it'll go back. And since I think that's a bonus action, so I'll use my own action then. Yeah, could have rolled better for that, but hey.
You put all 12 levels in fighter? Damn.
Yeah.
Actually, aren't y'all over 13? It should actually be 15 hit points.
Okay.
Are we 13? I'm only 12.
I think I told
I
you
didn't
all
think-
to level up at one point. Well, take 15. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So in that case then, and since that's an action, bonus action, I am going to, from there, let's check what this is. No, never mind. Let's do this again. Multiform technique. Let's try this, and here's hoping I can do a lot better damage. Be nice. What a crit in there.
Wow, look at all that. Everything above 20 and a crit.
Yes.
So 15, 25, 34, 43, and 52 points of damage. This Jinn is very badly hurt.
I'm just gonna really roll a 1d.
Very, very badly hurt.
That's rolling for my HP, I guess. So.
Nice. Okay, so
If I can survive this.
the Jinn, since it is their turn, is going to. They're just gonna keep hitting you with the scimitars because they can see you're wobbling on your feet about as much as they're wobbling on theirs.
Mm-hmm.
They will go for it. 18. That is a 13. So there's only 2 hits. 16 points of damage. And 15 points of damage.
Okay, so 16 and 15 only?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
You still up?
Still up with 11 hit points of 112.
Remind me to tell you later why that's funny.
I'm probably matching, I'm betting.
Back on the other ship, Burback, you've got one in front of you, and your slashing flourish has worn out.
That it has, yes. But it rolls with disadvantage because it's using a very hot sword.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, well, that first hit's a miss. The first attack is a miss, rather. The second attack is also a miss.
Yes.
Good disadvantage. The last one will be a hit.
Damn it.
So that's 15 points of damage. And lastly, the mage, who has cadence in his face.
Twice me.
Yeah. He is going to make sure I know what this does. So No, never mind. That's no, not doing that. He doesn't step around you per se, but just sort of leans away from you enough that he can still see the bird. And yeah, he's just gonna keep casting spells at it. So he's gonna hit it again with another spell. This one is gonna be some more cold damage. And actually, because you're in front of him, Cadence, you are gonna get hit with this as well. So I'm gonna need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
It's not good.
That is not good, no. You are going to take the full damage from this, which I suppose is appropriate since you're standing right in front of him.
But I do have resistance to cold damage because I am that color dragonborn.
That is very good. Okay, so... that is going to be 31 points of cold damage, so you'll have that down to 15.
Sorry about the random drops in stream, everyone. I know that one happened in a slight pause there, which is great, but I have spoken to my internet provider, and they have found a problem, and they'll be fixing it within the next 72 hours. So, a temporary issue.
No, we had me cutting out.
All of us are like, save the bird! And like, wait, there was a cutout?
It cuts out every now and again. It really only shows up as a few dropped frames, but still.
Oh.
Well, we will do our best to work around technical difficulties. That is it for the wizard. And Burback, we are back to you.
I've had enough of this year, Jen beating me up. And I think I'm going to try and turn it from less of a gin and more into a fortified wine or something. I'm taking it to port. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to stab at it. I'm going to stab at it bloody hard, actually. With my rapier. And I did just magically evolve in between rounds. I'm now I now have an extra level in rogue. Does a 22 hit, TM?
22 absolutely hits, yes.
But I'm doing all of those things again. Sneak attack, I'm doing another defensive slash. Always be defensive when you're slashing.
Nice. So 24.
And this time I only rolled a 2 on my thingy dice, so I've got 17 armor class now.
17, okay. And did you maintain concentration on heat metal? Because you do have the option to do that again as a bonus action.
Oh, yeah, I forgot how good that spell was. Then, yeah, I'm gonna pop that again.
Mm-hmm.
Can I really trigger that as a bonus action?
Mm-hmm. Once you have it up. That's why it's so good.
Fuck yeah. Great, I'm gonna do it. Boom! Wait. Yep.
Okay, so 17 points of damage.
No, just 6. Just 6. I need to learn to untick all of the things.
That's right. All right, and then he has to make his Constitution saving throw.
It magically gone up to an 18 between rounds for some reason.
Wonder why that is. Well, he rolled an 18, and plus his bonuses, he's going to make that saving throw. So the weapon is still red hot and sizzling, but he has not dropped it. Okay, Cadence, you just got hit with a lot of cold.
That's all right. I think I'll hit him back just a bit.
Do it.
It's a good idea.
So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be bonus action healing the bird this time. I'm going to cast a spell that I've absolutely known for a very long time. Staggering Smite. I did not just pick it up in between rounds. So the next time I hit a creature with a melee weapon attack during the spell's duration, my weapon pierces both body and mind. The attack deals an extra 46 psychic damage, and etc. etc. And I'm going to use my, I believe, last remaining advantage to attack him with my sword once. It's going to be 27.
That is gonna hit, yeah.
Extra attack. All right.
The extra attack's gonna miss.
All right. So I also would like to do a level 2 Divine Smite on that hit. So this is going to be that plus another 4d6. He's going to have to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Which I will do.
And it's going to be...
What is your save DC?
Sorry, I'm doing math. My spell save DC is 16.
Okay. He failed.
All right, and I get to reroll 2d6 and 1d8 to get rid of those 1s and 2s. Hopefully. Maybe not. Okay, so 15 slashing, and then... Oh my god, I don't like this math. 2, 6, 36. Some of that's psychic, some is holy. I don't know if that matters. And then for the failed wisdom save, he has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, cannot take reactions until the end of his next turn.
Awesome. He is still alive. He is looking very, very badly hurt.
He should be.
Yeah, he did not like that very much at all. Shall we say?
Yep, and that's about all I can do. I will move slightly to reposition myself once again in front of him, just to sort of prove my point.
Okay.
And that will be the end of my turn.
Okay, Cassandra, turn.
All right, I can't do too much because I can't drop this flying because I'm in danger. So I am just gonna fly just like a couple of feet, such that if I go to shoot him, I'm not in danger of shooting Decadence. And I am just going to ping out with my crossbow.
Okay.
26.
26 hits.
19.
They both do.
Yay! Okay, that's 16 damage and 10 damage. 26 damage on the mage.
He is still up.
Yeah! Cassandra, like, if Cassandra wasn't flying, Cassandra would, like, stomp her feet.
How dare!
I mean, you can sort of make the motion in midair. It just won't be quite as effective.
Stomp. Also, nobody can see it because of skirts.
The skirt just rustles weirdly in a little moment, like a.
Yeah,
the skirt hops.
No useful bonus actions. I'm out.
Okay, so Oxy, we are back to you.
Oh, here's hoping at 11 hit points. I got nothing to heal, nothing to go, nothing to this. It's like, okay, gotta take the Jinn out. This is the last time. The usual. Let's do this multiform technique because it doesn't say I can only use twice per short rest. I guess I can't do it this time. No. All right. Normal, and here's hoping for the here's hope for hits. That's all of them.
All right, let me look and tally these up because there's a lot of hits there.
Yay!
13. You did precisely 22 points of damage, which is enough. How do you kill this djinn?
I mean, there's just like, so it's 6 swords attacking really, but I can imagine there was like, for how many hits there are ish, probably there's a scatter of like a 1, a 2, and a 3. Just like little zigzag thing going with the swords into the parts of the djinn.
All
or
right.
at least up because they're surrounded.
You do all of this, and the djinn, its body just sort of out of existence. Like turns into air, and like a nice warm breeze that gets rapidly sucked away.
There's
the turbulence in here right now.
Great. There's a tiring little slump for a moment, then all 3 just kind of turn and look to Faden. If the sword's out, and it's like, stand the damn down in like 3 voices of unison. May I roll intimidate?
Sure, yeah, if you want. You are extremely intimidating.
I'm just speaking. Well, that move's meant to be. It is the uncanny. It's the snitches get stitches, so you know.
You're stealing all the good rolls, just all of them.
I'm sorry. It's for a good cause in this moment.
Okay. So, first thing, Burback, over on your ship, the djinn over here is still alive, and he does still have disadvantage because you're heat metal.
Oh boy.
And your AC is a 17 right now.
Yes, it is.
So between those 2 things, you're going to be rather hard to hit. That just prevented a crit, so good news there. You do not get hit at all this turn.
Oh, thank God.
The combination of the 2, I did not roll high enough on any of them. So you're all right. You're over there dodging out of the way. On the other ship where Faden is, Oxy, you make this intimidating, threatening gesture, and his attention shifts from the bird for the first time, and he really seems to take in you, all 3 of you, and the paladin who's been smacking him around, and the detective up in the air firing spells and crossbow bolts down, and the ship that's coming up behind him, and he looks up at the bird and just kind of tilts his head a little bit, almost make an insight check. 3 of you who are on the ship can all make this insight check.
Insight, you say? Funnily enough.
You are not close enough to really see.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I'm in the air away from, so should I still?
Yeah, but you still have a better line of sight on him. I would say you can still do it, Cassandra, but with disadvantage.
Oh God.
Okay.
There's my 1.
He tilts his head, and
You got the 10, though, right?
Oxy, to you, it almost looks like he's listening for something. And then he looks back at you and says, and lowers his hands. And he says, fine. He says, but this isn't over. And he disappears. Excuse, indeed.
Look, jerk face.
And he did cast some kind of magic to do it. You heard him, chant a couple of quick words.
counterspell any.
If you have counterspell, you're welcome to try to roll it.
Don't.
I have dispel magic, but I use my slots.
Unfortunately, it would have had to be counterspell. So he's gone. The bird is still looking rather wounded. Burback, it's technically your turn, and there is still a djinn in front of you.
Bloody djinn, I tell you. Well, I'm going to take... how's it looking?
It is still looking... It's bloodied at this point, actually. So not great. I mean, you've hit it a couple times, and the heat metal does not seem to be going too terribly well for it.
When we say bloodied, is this like the old editions where bloodied means just below half? It's below half health, or does it mean
below half? Yes.
Fucking hell. Well, I look positively knackered. I look more than bloodied. I looked awful. I'm gonna have to do something drastic, I think. I'm going to... No, wait, hang on a minute. It can bloody fly,
Roll
can't
the
it?
ship.
It can fly, can't it?
True.
The djinn?
Can't it?
It did fly over to you, yes. Now, you've hit it a couple of times, so debatable whether or not its fly is still active.
Burback wouldn't know that. Burback would just assume that the djinn can just fly. But you know what? I'm in a routine at this point. I'm just going to slash at it with my rapier. Does a 27 hit it?
Yes, a 27 absolutely hits.
And deal another 28 damage. I wish I'd stop rolling nat 1 on my bloody dice. That's 7 on the defensive flourish though. Putting my armor class up to 22. However, I am out of bardic inspiration, so that's not going to last much longer. I'm going to remember to untick everything and heat metal.
Heat metal. Okay, he is now looking a lot worse after that. And let's see about that con save. He still is holding on to his weapon. He's doing quite well on those con saves. So Cadence, it's your turn next. No longer anything going on over where you are, per se.
Right, but my friend seems to be having a bit of trouble dispatching this last djinn over here.
That is correct.
So I'm going to do another flyby heel of the bird as I fly over to the djinn that is attacking Burback. So it's going to get 8 healing points back.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and attempt to finish off this djinn.
Go for it.
All right, first attack is a 19.
That hits.
Second attack is a dirty 20.
Both of those hit.
All right, and I'll go ahead and smite it with the second level on 1, so that's going to be an additional 3d8 on top of whatever I roll here. Just rerolling 1d6. All right, so I get to reroll one of the d6s on the 9. That total's going to be an 11 instead of a 9, and then my smite damage going to be an extra 17 holy damage. So that's going to be
Get rid of this djinn.
40.
Down all the damage.
40? I don't know half it. Is it dead?
Oh yeah, it's dead. That's why I asked.
Perfect. All right. So, as I do drive by heel and tap the bird for a little bit of refresh, and I land on the other side of the djinn and just choo choo choo, all Zora style, and it sort of kind of chunks before it floats off into nothingness. And I smile at Burback through the mist of the corpse.
I think Burback just slumps against the wheel. They're very tired. Thank you, Cadence.
Of course. So what is the other ship doing now that no one is on it? Is it just like sitting in the sky, or is it like
Yeah, it's drifting a little bit. It looks like it's roughly drifting toward the edge of the cyclone. You've got a little bit of time before it gets there. Plenty of time if you guys want to stabilize it or get back to the helm. I mean, Oxy's pretty much right there.
Do we want to take the ship with us?
could always sell it?
It is, I will say, the ship is not terribly large. It does look like there is a cabin in the ship, as well as some kind of storage space beneath the deck as well.
And thank you very much, Ren, who gives an advantage to Hershire. Hershire, if you would like to tell us who would like to get that advantage in chat, we will get that assigned for you.
Are we officially out of combat round?
We are officially out of combat, yes.
All right. Oxy, if you don't mind too terribly, it might be worth a land and a search of that vessel.
I don't mind you terribly, but I'm not much of the flyer sort. So I'll do my best, though.
And I would like to fly up to the bird and lay on hands it.
Sure.
I
It's
will
also gonna heal the bird too, so we can both be
expend.
petting the bird.
Healing as well, I think, for me and Burback.
Yeah. I'll give it 25 hit points back.
Okay.
And then I'll use the rest of my lay on hands for Burback and Oxy to get 20 each.
Thank you.
And that
Thank
will
you
be the
very
extent
much.
of my healing.
Cadence, when you heal the bird, it lets out a loud cawing sound, and you can actually understand it. It is speaking in a form of primordial, and it says, "Thank you, stranger."
Of course. I'm sorry that that person was being so rough with you.
The bird makes kind of a noise that sounds a little bit like a chuckle, if birds could chuckle, and says, "He was not the first, and he will not be the last."
Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for the raid.
Thank you, Raiders.
Would you mind sort of turning down the cyclone so we can land and talk a bit more properly?
The bird looks around and says, "I will give you 1 hour as a token of my thanks."
Much appreciated.
And pretty much at the bird's at that, the cyclone just kind of dissolves. And if you want to land, you can see that there are a couple of earth motes not too far away.
I'll translate to the party what's going on.
Okay. I'll try and steer the ship over to the Earth motes then.
Okay. Now that the cyclone is gone, this is not a terribly hard thing for you to do. Just go ahead and give me, if you have any kind of vehicle proficiency.
Nope. I only have the weapons, language, and armor stuff, so I don't know if it'd be a sleight of hand, athletics, or just a general strength or dexterity.
We'll call it Dex. Maybe. Okay. You struggle.
Hey, Burback.
Hello.
You struggle a little bit to get this ship lighted.
Got the time to take. Got the time to take at least. Don't have to rush it.
I'm just Steamboat
Hello?
Willying our ship over to the other one, I suppose. Yes, welcome,
There we
Cassandra.
go.
Hello.
Gosh, everything I've been trying to do is just. All right, thank you.
What were you saying?
I forget at this point. Just trying to.
Decadence will sort of beckon to Cassandra to fly over to where the bird is and sort of checking to make sure that we can still fly. Did you want to talk to the bird about, all of the things?
Yeah, while my microphone was not working, I was already at the bird mostly. Like I was just like right next to it, and I healed it for 5. And then when the cyclone stops, because Cassandra is not very used to flying, like kind of has to take a second to figure out how to stay afloat without all the trouble. And then, yes, that was everything I was saying before.
Perfect.
My microphone was being.
And Cassandra, do you speak Primordial?
That's a really good question. I do not. Oh, but I can. Oh no, I can only read everything. I can't speak everything. Never mind.
Yeah, not quite the same. Okay, so yeah, so you would have heard the bird making this screeching, squawking noise, but cadences. Yes, Burback. You can interpret it as words. You are a little bit farther away, but yes, you would also understand it. Yeah. So
I can translate if you'd like.
I trust you.
All right. So we were actually sent here. Well, we were sort of hunting down that man that was hurting you, and the lesser gods of the Air City gave us a blessing to come and find you, specifically Cassandra, and I'll in calm and be like, could you the compass or whatever it is now?
I don't have that anymore. I've got this, and I'll hold up the weird manacles.
and as you hold
But
up,
it's not for you.
as you hold up the manacles, they sort of shimmer out of existence and are replaced once again with a compass.
Okay, never mind. I do have a compass. All right, and I'll open it. Where's it pointing?
It is pointing. Directions are hard in the elemental planes, but we'll call it southeast right now. So not back in the direction that you came.
We
That way.
suspect that the wizard mage person is attempting to collect the sacred artifacts that should probably not be named. Kind of looks at the rock to kind of not really sure how secret this information is because we kind of had to find it. I mean, obviously the rock knows what it is, but
the rock flaps its wings once, and you hear another crack of thunder. Sort of like the storm that was going on with the cyclone, and it says, yes, he's not the first to try, and as I said, he won't be the last. I am the guardian of one of those 4 artifacts, and it is I guard it with my life. Had you not arrived when you did, it is possible that he would have been the first one to wrest it from me.
Is there perhaps some more fortification that you would need in case he comes back?
Primarily, I need time to rest and perhaps rally some additional allies. There are some that I can call to my aid. He surprised me. I was not prepared.
Is there any way that you could get word out to the other guardians of his surprise? Quickly.
They would have. They would be aware by now. We are connected is perhaps not the best term, but due to the nature of the artifacts, we are aware when one of us is attacked.
Right. We know he's not going for the fire, and presumably has been, hopefully, discouraged from the air.
I would hope. That just leaves, I suppose, the water and earth. Do you know how he found out about all of this?
Oh man. Can I roll an insight to see if it would be a bad idea to tell him that the dragon told him?
You can. You don't know a whole lot about this, about Thunderbeak, so...
Oh, I really don't. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna tell him. We believe that the great dragon of the fire plane told him in exchange for a gift of a person, a Genasi.
The bird lets out another very loud screech that sounds kind of disgruntled, and then it swears very loudly, and says, "What is Emberlung playing at?"
I don't know, but I do know that he did not tell the mage the location of the fire plane's artifact.
Well, of course he wouldn't. Emberlung is guarding it.
Then I very much do not know what he would be playing at, particularly because he sort of made an agreement with us if we caught the mage. I don't know if he's hoping that the mage can somehow get the artifacts and then we could deliver all of them back to him or what. Kind of like flexes under armor. I'll admit that I'm not the best at piecing together these sorts of things. I'm more about the healing and destroying parts of life.
Well, I don't know what Emberlung would do with all of them.
What could anyone do with all of them?
The bird gets down a little bit closer to you and has like one giant eye directly looking at you, and says, "Whatever you want, assuming you can control them. They're the tools of creation."
Didn't look like that man could quite even control a ship, let alone 4 artifacts that could create life.
Well, that's of course the danger. If you are unable to control it, it could be very disastrous for the elemental planes, destabilizing.
Cadence kind of nods.
But Emberlung probably could control at least more than one.
So perhaps we are simply fetching the fetcher.
Perhaps. Or perhaps he simply wants you to collect this mage. I don't know what he's playing at.
seems a bit of an unnecessary sidestep if it makes a deal with the mage to collect a Genasi and then makes a deal with us to collect the mage and then gives us back the Genasi. All he's really done is collected the mage, but at a delay and with way more steps than would be necessary otherwise.
Emberlung does not like to do anything himself. He prefers the extra steps if it means he does not have to draw undue attention to himself. But that being said, I do not know for sure what his involvement is, if anything. Nor do I know why this particular mage hunted me down.
Cassandra, do we know why exactly this mage is hunting these down, other than power and all that?
Well, it was GM or DM. I don't remember if we found out that much.
You haven't. You've been through his notebook. You've seen all of his plans on how he's intending to do this, all of his notes on a whole variety of different things. But you've not seen an exact reason for why he's doing this.
So no, I mean we didn't really get a good glimpse as to why. It was really less of a diary and more of a to-do list.
I'll translate back to the bird.
While you're having this conversation, Oxy, did you tell me you were going to search the ship?
I did not. I was just going to try and land the ship, and then once it's landed, I will search it. But my destination is ship, but I'll try. I will try.
This conversation. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. You just start kind of going through things. You open the cabin, poke around a little bit, open the storage compartment that's underneath the ship. In the cabin, you find more books of a similar nature to the ones that you guys all recovered back in the city of Brass. Things that you'll have to go through to really see if there's anything of value in there. What's really interesting that you find is in the ship's hold or cargo space, because you find a bound and gagged woman.
Okay, Oxy will remove the gag to start with. Working with Cassandra means we don't remove the ties right away. They could be the villain.
When you do that, she lets out a loud sigh and then she says, "Thank you. A little bit easier to breathe now. Forgive me for asking, but who are you?"
Oh, I'm Oxy. Nice. What's your name?
My name's Elaine.
All right. Let's take you up top. I have some friends around that might like to meet you. How'd you end up down here, though? Tied up and gagged.
Oh, well, that's a long and rather unpleasant story. Do you mind letting me out to get some fresh air first before I tell you?
I mean, I'll take you up front. My apologies, though I cannot remove your ties until you at least talk to some of the other people. I want to check with them. You can.
I'm happy to talk to whomever you'd like. I'd just like to be out of this compartment first.
Absolutely. Let's and Oxy will help her up.
Point of clarification, is Oxy...
Yeah, Oxy's all stacked again.
Yep. As Cadence and Cassandra are having this conversation with Thunderbeak, Oxy emerges from the hold of the ship with the woman whose illustration you saw in Faden's journal. And the woman that Cadence, you in particular, recognize because she was one of the first people you met after you left to gather treasure for your mistress. And in fact, she recognizes you when she sees you, and she says, Cadence, what are you doing here?
Elaine, is that you?
Yes.
Excuse me, it's been very nice talking to you. I just must, tend to this woman, for a moment.
The
you've
bird
been very-
kind of cocks its head and says, as you wish. You still have time.
And Cadence will fly over to the other ship and land.
You leave me alone with the bird, and I just look at it and say, I can't do that, so, sorry.
I'd love to think
The
that
bird-
Burback drives the ship closer to you both and just rolls up like.
Of course.
Of course means greetings,
just
this
like
one can't speak primordial.
I can't either. We can't either.
Elaine walks towards you and she raises her hands with your manifold and she says, I'd give you a hug, but
Right, so we saw your picture in the wizard or mage's journal. Did he capture you?
in a manner of speaking, you're after him, are you?
Yes. He's after something he should not be after. And Cadence has like her sword out, but isn't like quite cutting the ties yet, and is sort of kind of glancing over at Cassandra every couple seconds.
And she sort of shakes her head a little bit and goes, well, that tracks. He wouldn't really tell me what he was doing.
You know him?
No, I know him very well. And she looks at you and she says, he's my son.
Lots of family matters around these parts.
Tied up and gagged his own mother?
You're not cooperative.
I was not. No, I wanted nothing to do with this. And I didn't want to come with him, but he insisted. And when I told him no, look, I don't really do magic. No one in our family really does, to be honest, except him. And here we are. He wanted me to come see something, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. And he just insisted that there was something I had to come see.
Could I roll an insight on her?
Sure.
I don't know.
You're really not sure. I mean, it's Elaine. She was really nice the last time you met her. It seems kind of strange that she'd be involved in something like this.
Did you see the giant bird, or were you down below for that? And she sort of gestures to Thunderbeak.
Elaine just kind of looks up at the bird and she says, well, I could hear it. But no, I've been down in the hold for several hours at least.
And Cadence will start cutting the ropes that tie her. Do you know if your son would have a reason to create life, or to want to?
To create life? No, that's
Not, in the normal sort of way with the egg and everything, but like with with an artifact.
I mean, well, he's always been a very ambitious boy, I suppose. I will readily admit to not really understanding him as much as the rest of my children. They all took after me a bit more, She gestures to your sword and she says swords and shields and that sort of thing. But I can't imagine him doing something that would hurt people. course, I mean, well, I haven't really seen much of him the last couple of years.
He's already done at least one thing that has hurt someone. He attacked a defenseless, well, perhaps not defenseless, but not adequately defended Genasi woman and kidnapped her and sold her to be turned into stone to an evil dragon, and is now in a very dangerous quest that looks to hurt at least one gestures at Thunderbeak person like that.
He kidnapped someone.
Yes, along with some little fire creatures. Set fire to town in the process, looks like.
Starting to think I don't know my child as well as I thought I did.
Well, you know, when the nest becomes empty and the birds fly away and all that. Perhaps you should talk to my friend. She's much better at talking to people than I am, and like is looking frantically back for Cassandra.
I'm happy to talk to any of you, really. He is so grounded when I get a hold of him.
I've just been, fluttering next to the bird with my eyebrows raised, watching. I can't hear you. It's too far away, I think.
Oh.
Gestures broadly.
Burback sort of addressing the bird, so, busy season, is it? Lots of attacks, is there?
And the bird says, I get one or two now and then, but usually not anywhere near as serious as this.
Wait, does the bird say that in common?
No, in Primordial.
Oh, okay.
Bird can speak Primordial.
Yeah, I speak Primordial with a Welsh accent too, obviously.
I'm very curious of what a primordial Welsh accent is going to be.
We're very proud, the Welsh, very proud.
I realize that Burback is talking to the bird, and I just huff again, and I'll go over to Decadence. This is some bullshit. Can't talk to the goddamn bird.
When you do, you would also recognize Elaine as being the person that was illustrated in Faden's journal, and she offers you a hand and says, "Hello, I'm Elaine Kala."
I'll fly over and as gracefully as possible land and accept the handshake. Is it the hand? Is she trying to handshake, or is she?
Yeah, she just does a handshake. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like a handshake or like a kiss my hand. I'm a lady.
No. It's a handshake.
All right.
Her son is the one that
It's
we've
an
been
angle.
pursuing.
It's like this, and I'm like, I don't know which one. I'll do both. No.
High five.
Sorry, Decadence, what?
Her son is the one that we're pursuing currently that stole your friend away.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea he was even capable of doing something like this. I thought I raised him better.
Uh-huh. How did you raise him? What school of magic specifically?
Oh, I don't know, really. He kind of did all that on his own. We sent him to some school. I don't know. It's been like 10 years, really.
You don't remember what school you sent your darling baby boy to?
No, my husband would probably know more than me. I like I said, to be honest, I didn't have a whole lot in common with him.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra is just like trying to stare this woman down. Well, Decadence, what do you think?
Would be useful if we could figure out why he's doing this. But you say you don't know, and we haven't found anything. Perhaps any sort of deaths in the family? Maybe trying to bring them back? Mysterious absences?
No. The rest of my children are all healthy and fine. His father is fine. I mean, I assume, unless something happened since he took me away.
I'd like to detect magic on the woman.
Sure. Are you just doing it as a ritual, or are you in spending the 10 minutes, or are you just going to cast it?
One action. Yeah, I'm just gonna cast it. Because I want to know if like she's under a spell or if she's a fake, or I just.
When you look at her, there is a faint glimmer of enchantment on her. It's pretty subtle. But it's definitely there. You're positive.
When I notice this, I kind of, mentally put a pin in that, and then I'll turn into regular, proper lady smiles. All right, well, that's lovely. Why don't we, make sure you're comfortable? Let's figure out what boat we're going to take and go find your son. My compatriots and I are going to have a bit of a discussion, and yes, decadence.
She says, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to intrude, but thank you for getting me out of there."
I'm sure it was our pleasure. Oxy.
Coming over.
And then we'll scurry over to another side of this ship thing.
Set.
There is some sort of spell on her, so let's just play it. Subdued.
After I get a rest, I could probably take a look at it, but honestly, I'm a bit tapped out of magic for now.
And Cassandra is like, putting her hand over her mouth as she talks. Yes, I think we should probably all figure out if there's anything left of use on this boat and then get back to Oz. I think we should keep an eye on her without making it extremely obvious that we are.
I don't suppose your compass is pointing at her, is it?
I'll check. I'll just idly take out the compass.
You're testing to see if it's pointing at her?
Yeah.
It is not.
Alright, well, I don't think she's him, but there's something going on.
Shall I fly up and tell Bobak?
Yes.
And Cadence is the other person who understands Primordial, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Primordial, I'm thinking, well, what we're doing is we're sampling different stores across the planes of their magical items.
The bird's like, and what kind of magical items?
Well, take for example these shoes.
And the bird's head cranes in to look at your shoes.
You see,
And
I
it looks
can't.
back. Does it let you fly?
It does let me fly, yes, for 4 hours.
Oh my god.
Well, I suppose that's fortunate since you were not blessed with wings.
I am not blessed with wings. You're quite right. But I'm blessed with other things, like the ability to get boots. Yes, what we could really use is sponsorship,
What would sponsorship entail?
Well, what you do is you grace us with either some kind of financial or magical boon, and we can slap your name over all of our products and get your name out there.
Hmm. Yes. You have a card.
As it happens, I do. Oxy keeps hold of those, though, so I'll have to go and grab one from her in just a moment.
I might be
Them.
interested. Maybe. I have to think about it.
Well, I can tell you that our other sponsors have seen up to 50% increase in interest and communications with our sponsorship. And those that do have financial ventures, and I know you might be considering doing something yourself, you know, that's with time, they've seen up to 25% increase in sales.
And would you be open to a magical sponsorship?
I certainly would. Magical items or spells. Perhaps you could train some of our magic users. You know, we're open to all sorts of things, really.
Interesting. I'll have to consider it. This is the conversation you come in on, Katie. Rebecca's pitching your business to the Thunderbeak.
Burback, darling, still in primordial. I think also perhaps mentioning, you know, the networking benefits as well, because our friend here did mention perhaps wanting some reinforcements. So, you know.
Yeah, well, I've already mentioned that we've come from the, obviously, the material plane. We're material planers. But also we've been through the fire plane already. That's where these trinkets are from. We've been to the air plane. We're planning, I believe, on visiting the water plane and perhaps the earth plane as well. We already have, what was that lovely dragon's name, Cadence? The one that we parlayed with.
Oh, the one with all the stone statues.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, what was their name?
Emberlung.
Emberlung, yes, we've already got ties to Emberlung. Nothing official yet, but we've been, you know, we've opened conversations.
The Burlington says Amberlung is participating in your company.
No, not yet. There's a question about ethics, so we're not sure whether we want to get involved, but they've shown an interest.
Really?
We would much rather have someone like you than someone like... Burback, can I talk to you for just a moment, please?
Certainly. Would you excuse me? I'll tell you what, I'm sure I can get you some leaflets for you to have a look through.
All right.
Just bear with me. I'll come away with Cadence.
All right, so, first off, I don't think that bird likes Emberlung very much. I may or may not have told them that that's sort of the reason the wizard is trying to kill them. So probably Ixnay on the Emberlung.
That's exactly what I was testing. At least we know we can trust the bird.
Right. And a follow-up statement. We think that Elaine gestures is perhaps under a spell. She was bound and gagged inside of the enemy ship, and is the mother of the person that we're trying to. The wizard. So, perhaps don't mention that. Cassandra says that perhaps we should search the ship and then bring her aboard.
What's the problem? You can dispel magic, can't you? Why don't you just dispel her?
I would, but I sort of healed it all out of myself and tried to smash all of the Genasi into ribbons, so my magic reserves are just a bit low. I'm a bit fatigued. Perhaps with some rest, I can be able to, but at the current moment, I don't think I have it in me.
I mean, I don't know how to do the dispel magic, but I've got a lot of spell slots. Maybe you could walk me through it.
I could try, but I don't know if that's exactly how it works. Right, we can try to do that, I suppose. she might become a bit suspicious if it doesn't work and you're just sort of finger waggling and chanting, in her general direction.
Well, normally when I do magic, I have to, like, sing a little bit.
Strum waggling and chanting in her direction.
I beg your pardon, I won't be doing any of that, thank you.
I don't know exactly how your kind of like looks for instruments, magic symbols work.
I don't really have magic symbols, I have magical chords.
Touches own holy symbol with a touch of confusion.
Strums lute.
Alright, so I can try to help you magically serenade her out of a spell. I guess. If you think you
Alright.
can play it off as, nothing if it doesn't work. I've never tried to teach magic before. I don't know if I'd be any good at it.
I mean, well, we can only try, can't we?
I suppose. Did you learn anything new from the bird?
Not really, no. It don't seem to get out much. Why, I think that's why I thought I'd offer it the sponsorship deal, might get some people coming to them. Without wanting to attack them, that seems to be the only thing that people do.
I did say it had some allies that
did it?
call on to defend, to help it
Sneaky
defend.
bugger, hasn't told me about the allies yet.
Well, we were focused more on the trying to defend than the trying to promote. Both are very important, but perhaps it wouldn't think of allies as being particularly useful for promoting a business. It is a bird. I'm not sure if it's ever been to a store before. It's quite large. Would you like me to fetch Oxy's cards or Oxy's entirety for you?
No, we'll let them wait. Sometimes it's good when people are trying to make a decision to let them have a little bit of time to mull it over.
I'll let Cassandra know we'll try singing the bewitchment out of this lady. she'll go back to Cassandra. That was the weirdest conversation I think I've ever had with Bobak.
Really?
Yes, weirder than the one with the box and the flower business. He's trying to promote our...
Really weirder than his job interview.
Yes, alright. Maybe the second weirdest.
Alright. Because after that, yes.
Oh, yes. Like, if we had not talked with his mother, goodness knows.
Good references are very important.
Of course.
Anyway.
And I've informed him, and he has a possible strategy for the thing we discussed, and also is trying to loop this bird in with his the business plan of the item thing that we're trying not to know about.
Are you serious?
As the plague.
One problem at a time. All right. Oxy!
Yes.
Would you mind... Wait, so you already did a bit of a once-over on the ship, right?
Yes. I wouldn't suggest a great one, but I did do one.
All right. Can you make friends with Elaine for just a few minutes while I do a quick spin around?
Certainly. I can make nice. Usually. And
Oxy, or do you want to talk to Elaine?
I'll be nice and talk to Elaine.
Oh, I was so sorry.
Oh.
I forget that if I'm looking at Holly's screen, it doesn't mean Holly can tell I'm looking at her. Decadence. Do you want to come or do you want to talk to Elaine?
I can accompany you just in case something having needs moved out of the way or jabbed very hard.
All right. Yeah, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna go.
The two of you are going to go examine
Investigate.
the ship
Yeah.
while Oxy distracts Elaine, it sounds like.
Yes.
And Burback perhaps presents Thunderbeak with a card. Okay. Cadence and Cassandra, you guys can either make your own separate investigation checks, or if one of you wants to make it with advantage, we can do that as well.
Cassandra should make
I-
it with advantage.
Well, I was gonna say I've got some advantage rolls to use, and I want to just use one of those.
And you can do that too.
Then Cadence can also look.
All right, I'm not good, but here we go. That's actually not bad.
Ugh, only a 17.
Did you put them in roll 20?
I did. I don't see Cassandra's though.
I don't see any rolls either.
See.
Oh, there they all are.
Oh,
Lots of kind of delay. All right.
Some.
Yeah, those were both quite good actually. So the two of you start going through this ship to see what you can see.
Dragon bow and eyes see.
Yes. It's pretty apparent that Elaine is not lying about having been down in the hold for quite a while. You can see signs of her passage. You can see like in the there's like some hay and like for like padding and stuff down there. You can see like a depression where it looks like she slept for a bit. So she's definitely been down there for some time. In the cabin, there's a couple of hammocks in there, so it looks like this is where the Jinn and Faden were sleeping. You find in amidst the paperwork that's in here in the books, you find what looks like some employment contracts for probably for the Jinn that were here because they were authorized in Akka. But you notice that there is more than two. In fact, there's about around a dozen of them. And you don't really know where those people are, but presumably he has more employees. You can see from his notes here, it looks like he was not prepared to leave these, and so there's a little bit more information here than there were in the things that were left in the City of Brass. From these notes, you can see he has a pretty good idea of where the other guardians are in the plane of earth and the plane of water. On the plane of water, his research seems to be centered around a dragon turtle. And then on the plane of earth, he mentions an unusually large basilisk that seemed to have been sort of his fixations in both of those areas. In his notes, it says that he sent some of his employees to go investigate both of those, while he himself was going to attempt to seek out the Air Guardian. As far as motivations go, you do find not necessarily a journal per se, but some indications of how he got a hold of Elaine. He has what looks like a floor plan of a house, and It looks like you can see Elaine's name is on a list of other names. And the other names are sort of scratched out with Elaine's name circled.
Thank you so much to Jess. Subscribed for a whole year. Thank you.
And Elaine's name is circled, and beside her name is written a note that says, if I can just convince her.
Is there any indication on the ship of it being perhaps, oh God, my cats are opening doors, perhaps more well equipped to traverse either the earth plane or the water plane next?
You don't see any indication of that, no. It's an airship, so theoretically he could take it to the plane of earth or the plane of water, and that would be fine. Might not be of a huge amount of use in the plane of water if he had to go underwater, but it shouldn't be. It would probably work in the plane of air or earth, rather. But no, there's no indication of that. Although there are rough maps of where he was sending teams in both planes.
Oh. I'll take out the compass and
Mm-hmm.
then see if I can figure out, based on the direction the compass is pointing, which way he went, which plane.
I'm going to have you make a separate investigation check for that.
Because it's the second to last game, I'm going to use another advantage.
Go for it.
Because I can.
I always forget about those. So bad.
Nat 20! Finally!
Yeah, you pick up those maps. And you have some of his other maps. So you lay them all out on the deck of the ship, and you get your compass out, and you start, moving it around, trying to orient yourself. Okay, where do we go? Where are we? And based on the direction that the compass is pointing and the maps that you have, he can really only be one of two places. Somewhere on the plane of Earth, or somewhere in the epicenter.
Sob. Decadence.
Yes.
We're generally kind of a rather unlucky lot, right?
Lucky enough to find each other, but sort of generally, I suppose, yes.
Alas.
What did you find?
He's either somewhere that won't be that bad, or somewhere very bad. I'm
Are we going back to the fire plane?
not quite.
That place was pretty bad.
Yes. I think we'd probably have to go to the epicenter.
Alright, so what's the other option?
Well, I mean, maybe the Earth plane, but I doubt it.
Wouldn't we have to... The fastest way to the Earth plane is through the epicenter, isn't it?
Silver lining, yes.
Great.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Got a enchanted mother of this crazy person who wants to do horrible things. It's fine. It's fine. My parasol broke in the wind. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, neither of us has a parasol. So we can go on a shopping trip, once we're through all of this for parasols. bright side of things.
Yes. Yes. All right. Let's go. I'll turn on my heel. We'll go.
I'll definitely make sure to like grab all the employment.
Yeah, I
records.
leave you to grab all the stuff. I'm just like in a huff.
And we
Sandra's
can make use
fully
of
in her
this.
dramatics right now.
And once we get up to the deck, I imagine Cassandra's like very like take charging, like stepping, and Cadence is sort of lumbering behind and just like slides the employment forms over to the middle of Oxy. It's a tiny hand, like
You hear like a little rustling underneath the cloak. It's like we could use this.
Probably the
I will
pockets
say
have
the
like
employment
document
forms do
folders.
specifically have a contract between them and him. Now, what you do with that, I leave up to you.
Hey,
I'm not
I
going
have
to say the
forgery.
word forgery.
I have forgeries. I can be like, oh, did you know your contract expires if they do this? Guess what they did?
Or there could always be a clause that in the case of one of the heads being, you know, disposed of, then they all become contracted to us. I don't know. Cadence does not
We'll work
silly
on
her
it. We'll
hands
work
with
on it.
things.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. No worries.
Elaine, would you be so kind as to accompany us back to our ship, and we'll make sure that you are taken care of?
Of course, and I do feel terribly bad. You know, he is my son and sort of my responsibility. I'm happy to go with you and try to take him home.
Yes, we'll see if we can catch him first before we make any plans.
Right. Well, and she'll head off to your ship. Are you and Cadence? Are you and Burback going to attempt to coordinate a dispel magic?
I warn you, Cadence, if we're going to do this, I'm nowhere near as good at performing as I am, like, talking to people and getting them to convince things, you know. I'm not really that kind of bard.
Well, that's perfectly all right.
I sometimes find it hard to hold a note, really.
Oh. Well, you know, everybody has their offbeats. I'm sure that as long as your heart's in it, she won't notice. I shall help you if I can.
Alright. So, you don't normally sing, right? So I guess I'll just pick some lyrics and just, you know, sing along, I guess, and we can do the other bits as we go.
I can sort of do like a chanting in the background, sort
guess
of a
it's-
rhythmic,
Singing's kind of like chanting, I guess, isn't it?
something like that.
Okay.
Do we have a mechanic for doing this, or are we just BSing it?
I know what I'm going to ask you to do. So here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you both roll Arcana checks. Cadence, yours is to express to Burback how to cast this spell. Burback, yours is to understand how to cast it, because you are trying to translate divine magic into arcane magic, which is very tricky to do.
Oh.
I don't suppose I could convince you that I could roll a religion check for this instead.
I will let you roll a religion check, yes.
Oh
All right.
no! Wow.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Be a really beautiful disaster. As Burback starts to play, and
What's-
Kate starts to awkwardly chant, with Burback attempting to turn that chant into some kind of arcane casting.
I honestly just feel like I accidentally cast Unseen Servant, and it just like appears, and I'm like,
It's awful as
don't-
well, you know.
What I was actually gonna do is,
Oh no.
oh god.
one of you, whoever would like, can roll me a D100.
I believe Burback is the agent of chaos here.
Certainly. A 31.
31.
And this sounds awful as well. Burback's gonna launch. Oh, fuck it, I'll launch into it. I wish I was like you! Easily amused!
Easily
like-
amused.
Find my nest of salt!
Salt? The nest of-
Everything's my fault!
This sounds disgusting. Fault, yes.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
It carries on through most of all
Take, like, 1
apologies.
point of psychic damage from all of this. Actually, so what happens is Burback and Cadence, whenever
I'm really not that kind of bard, you know.
whenever you finish this, the two of you disappear, actually, from the ship, or the ship fades for you. And you find yourselves kind of floating in a void.
Burback, I don't believe this worked quite how we wanted it to.
It doesn't seem to have done, no. Should I finish the song?
I would honestly rather you didn't. Being in a void is bad enough. And not that your performance was subpar, but I don't know the words, so I can't even sing along.
It's actually a pretty good deception roll.
Wow.
That's even better insight.
Ooh.
Also, can we just reflect on the fact that you rolled a 1, but your insight was 15?
I still gotten beaten by a deception 3. Like,
That's terrifying.
oh wow.
Back on the ship, Cassandra and Oxy, you're watching this train wreck of a song take place, and then there's just a brief popping noise, and the two of them disappear.
What? What?
You didn't, right?
No.
I didn't either.
Elaine.
I didn't do anything. I don't even cast magic. I don't know. I don't have anything to do with this.
Okay.
All right, hold on.
Cadence.
Are we still parked
Back.
next to the other ship, basically?
Yeah. You guys are basically moored at this Earth moat, so you can transfer things between the ships.
All right, I have a theory. Elaine, if you would, and this isn't really a request, it's a do this. Can you just go back to the other ship real quick?
Okay. I don't see how that's going to help, but all right.
I think that there is a sort of defensive spell on you.
Okay. And she gets up and walks over to the other ship and gets back on board and waves at you and goes, "Now what?"
And I look over where they were standing.
All right, Burback. I think perhaps some spells are concentration based, so maybe if I slap you hard enough, you'll break concentration with it. Because I know I did not cast that. I was hardly singing.
I just remembered that. Cadence, I don't think that. Well, I mean, I'm certainly not concentrating on it anymore, am I? Otherwise, I'd still be singing.
Fair point. Would that? Would that? Because I didn't have to keep casting a spell to concentrate on it. We just concentrate really hard on something else.
I'm not very good at that. I usually have, like, 4 or 5 side gigs running in my mind at one time. Just in case we need a con on the fly.
Would you like me to slap you?
No.
Alright.
Do it anyways. No.
Could you try falling asleep?
Not really. I'm half elf, aren't I? I mean, I can sleep, but I don't like to. Have a little rest. Then you could just dispel me.
Alright, I guess I could try to sleep in the void, glances around at the nothingness for eternity, and Burback.
I see. So it was a fine idea when you told me to go to sleep, but when I say to you to go to sleep, it's silly, is it?
Burback, I don't mean any offense in what I'm about to say, but I have never done anything to you, or your cabin, or your belongings, aside from clean them. And I'm not trying to imply that you have, to me, my cabin, or my belongings, when I'm otherwise disposed, asleep, or not there.
Cadence. As far as I'm concerned, we're even. You never got consent for cleaning or any of my stuff or my cabin or me. So I never got any consent for making you dirty.
Back on the ships.
I basically pushed Elaine to the other ship, and I'm just staring at the spot where Decadence and Burback were.
Okay, so they're singing a terrible. Burback was singing a terrible song. They were singing a terrible song of some sort.
Right.
Do we recognize the words from any known spell?
I don't know. Burback uses that weird odd magic. Oh, all right, Elaine. Sorry, that theory clearly did not work. You can come back.
Elaine says, okay. And she hops down off of the other ship and comes back over. And she says, I told you it wasn't anything to do with me. I don't do magic.
No, but there's... it's the planes of elements. We don't know what does or does not affect things sometimes. We don't know.
Cassandra is gonna go over to like the exact spot where Decadence was and just stare at the boards of the ship.
As you do that, there is a popping noise, and Burback and Cadence reappear. Precisely
all backwards.
Yeah, and you kind of whoa.
I was like, look at
See it? All sorted itself out. There you go.
Wait, it did fix itself when Elaine came back on the ship. What?
Maybe it's related to... Okay, what happened?
I think perhaps it was because we were focused on cleanliness that we came back.
You're always focused on cleanliness.
Not
Yes,
really. Not. I wasn't focused on cleanliness. Definitely not.
You were talking about how I clean your things. So perhaps we just had to be united in the
Clearly,
same thoughts.
you've missed the point, Cadence. I was talking about consent.
But cleaning with or without consent. But still cleaning.
Would you help me up? And I look up at Decadence.
Yoinks.
Alright, well that was all very weird, but should we get going?
Quite. Did you tell them where we were going? Points to Oxy.
I did not.
I was a little preoccupied with the fact that you had disappeared.
Yeah, you kind of poofed, so we we're worried about finding you. You know.
Never poofed before. It's quite fun, actually.
Not from this side.
There was a lot of nothingness.
Don't get me wrong, it was terrifying all the time we were doing it, but afterwards, you know, in hindsight.
So you'd do it if you could actually just move around on your own, I'm hearing?
Well, where else could we poof to? Perhaps we were getting the hangs of a new spell there. Maybe we can, I don't know, cast one of them things the wizards do. You know, when they just poof.
Do you want to try again sometime?
All right.
Not right now, not right now. All right.
I'm gonna shove the compass in, like, between the four of us that are standing there. We've got to go that way.
6 of us.
Thank you. 4 figures that are standing there.
5 of us. Anyways, I don't know if Elaine's in this.
No,
but okay.
I like Elaine's like I'm being very
Go away.
exclusive here. It's like a huddle.
Oh. It's us. All right.
There's a reasonably good chance that we'll get to the, epicenter, and you won't be there, and we can just move right on to the safety of the Earth. But we probably have to fight him again in the epicenter. So onwards.
Going to sleep. For as long as I can before we get there.
Sleep sounds great.
Yeah. Do we want to maybe use? Wait. Does our ship have space for like sleep bunks like their ship did?
Very limited space, but yeah.
Okay then, in that case, because otherwise Ox would be like, we can use their ship. Theirs has rooms.
Yes, but our ship is magical.
Yeah.
In a way that we understand.
Yes.
And you could just string, a hammock up between 2 posts and you're away.
Onward.
So you set out in your ship. Behind you, Thunderbeak.
Oh, we didn't even say goodbye. Oh my god.
We can be like, bye. Wait, did the card get delivered?
We'll say yes.
Okay.
Thunderbeak had sort of landed to talk to you all on this Earth moat. And Thunderbeak raises its great wings and takes off. And it flies alongside you for a short distance. Every beat of its wings, there's lightning crackling out. And you can see as it veers away and turns to fly off somewhere, you see the cyclone start to form around it again. And that lasts for maybe a minute. And then you hear Thunderbeak let out a loud shriek. And the cyclone around it dissipates. And it actually veers back down onto a different Earth moat because it has actually flown some distance. It lands there, and it does land, it doesn't fall. And it's, even from this distance, you can see that it's sort of panting, almost, like it's in pain.
We should go back.
On.
Really can't though. Don't we have to do this? We have to collect Faden.
Compass out, pointing at the bird.
It's not pointing at the bird. It is still pointing in the same direction. And as you pull it out, you hear the bird let out another shriek of pain.
Just send me back and I can heal him up. I can't fly though.
Back. Please turn the ship around.
Well, if one of you can drive, I could fly back and kill them up a little bit. A nice soothing melody, a little song of rest, Mending if necessary.
Yes. Right.
Bad news is I think you're the only one who can fly. Or can drive this thing.
No, it's easy, really. Look, you just move the rudder left and right, and it goes left and right. Easy. I'll be back in a minute. I say the magic word and start flying off.
Just like flutter off.
Sandra grabs the wheel of the ship.
Oxy will grab the rudder and then just look at Cassandra like,
Oh, we'll just move it the way he moved. They moved it.
yep.
And we're gonna try to pilot the ship back that way.
Okay. If you're gonna try to turn the ship, go ahead and make me, if you have any kind of vehicle proficiency, otherwise a dexterity check. Hey, look at that.
25.
Yeah, you got this. Cassandra,
You're better yet, son.
you've seen enough of Burback steering ships over, the course of your relationship as fellow investigators, that you are able to turn the wheel and sort of reroute the ship back to the bird, who is lying on this other Earth mode. Burback, you're a little bit ahead. You will get there first. The bird is, it's this Earth mode is not terribly big, and the bird is very big, so it's taking up most of the space on this Earth mode. But it's kind of sprawled on the ground. It's got its wings fully outstretched. They're kind of dipping over the sides of the Earth mode as it's breathing in and out, and just it's got its eyes closed.
Hey, yo, what's up, TBK? What's going on here, then? It seemed to be, in some kind of pain.
The bird opens just one eye to look at you and says, one of the other guardians has been attacked. I can...
You're all linked, are you?
Huh?
All linked, are you?
We are not, but the artifacts we carry are. It comes with side effects.
All right. What can I do to help you, then?
I will be fine, but they were almost powerful enough to overwhelm me. If they got to one of the other guardians who was not prepared, it may not go well.
Don't suppose you have, like the wizards do, where they do that cantrip and they can all talk to one another? And warn them, could you, interplanar message?
I do not have that capability.
Bugger.
Any message I send would take time to arrive.
Well, then, do you know who's been attacked, then?
The bird closes its eyes again, and it breathes in and out a few more times as it's thinking, and then it says, Moss Eye, the guardian on the Earth plane.
Yeah. Well then, should we go and help them, or should we go and, I don't know, is it too late?
I don't know how long. Moss Eye is still alive, currently. I don't know how long it can hold out.
The rest, roughly.
You will know if it cannot.
Baka. I imagine the rest are sort of coming close by now.
Yeah, sort of as you are sitting there going bugger bugger bugger, the ship pulls up with the rest of your crew.
Heyo, so it seems Mosai, the guardian of the Earth plane's been attacked, yo. And, well, they're still alive. But they're all linked, you see. So when Mosai got attacked, old TB over here, they got hurt too. Well, I mean, we've got choices really. Do we go and head towards the Earth plane and try and save Mosai, or since we've already been to the fire plane and the airplane, and the Earth plane's been attacked, do we want to keep being one step behind, or do we want to try and, I don't know, skip ahead to the water plane and try and beat them to it?
Let's beat them to it, because I also would like a rest, because I'm kind of hurting.
Is there any way that you could instantly transport us to Mosai?
That might not be the best thing. I'm nearly out of spell slots, and you can't even cast a spell magic at the minute.
Thunderbeak.
We haven't rested, and so he hasn't either.
But he does have more employees that are there. I don't fancy going up against more Genossi.
That gin nearly killed me.
Same.
Cassandra, who took no damage and used basically no spells, is very stressed out. All right, if none of you think you can...
I will fight, but is it even a possibility to get there in time? Looks at TB.
Thunderbeak breathes for a few moments as if it's thinking, and then it opens an eye again and says, in my current state, I cannot send you there. But if they are successful in taking the rhythm of Earth, you will start to see changes. And the artifacts can be used to summon the elder elementals. That can only be done in the center of all four planes. If that is in any way part of this wizard's plan, your best option may be to go there.
Look, I know this might be asking a bit way too much of you, but do we stand a chance if we go to the center, if he has the Earth, the rhythm of Earth, and we have only what you see before you?
If you can get there first, perhaps. He will be struggling to control the power. It will make him distracted.
Sandra, who kind of had a number of facial expressions shift through this conversation, started very defeated and is now looking very resigned. Not for nothing, but we do have a hostage.
Oh, Sandra.
I was thinking perhaps something a bit more, and looks at Thunderbeak. Daring. We could have on our side. If we returned it, of course.
And what?
Well, if he's got an artifact on his side, I would never try to wrest yours from you, of course. And as I said, this may be a bit bold to ask. But perhaps one on our side would do us some good. Whether it be you're wielding it or someone else.
The Thunderbeak looks directly at you, Cadence, and says, "You're asking me to put my life directly in your hands. You do realize this, right?"
I do.
I mean,
But
to
it's
be
also,
fair, sorry, Cadence.
it's
Go
also
ahead.
the life of potentially every plane and every other guardian and every other element.
And we'll look after you real close. It'll take a lot to break us away from you. There's nothing that 100 employees or more of theirs
Yes.
could ever do.
I seen where that was going. I seen where that was going.
This is officially the best game ever because we just brought Rick Astley into this.
No, that was the rains down in Africa. That wasn't Rick Astley.
Oh,
That's
you're right. You're
Toto.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know why in my head I interpreted that as never going to give you up.
That's one of Scrat's favorite things as well, is that he knows the guy who played the bongos in that song. I used to go skiing with him. Funny word,
Oh,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And frankly, your life is already in our hands. If we don't stop them, they're going to come back for you, and you'll be even worse off because they've had the artifact. So you're kind of trusting us already. You may as well trust us a step further to get the job done.
Cadence, Thunderbeak looks at you and says, "Swear to me on whatever you hold dear that you will bring it back."
I promise on my honor as an honest person.
Cassandra
Like,
just
Cadence.
reaches over at Burback, puts her arm around his head and cups his mouth and pulls him backwards. Them.
I do a very formal bow with my sword and in Primordial say, "I promise on my bonds to my family, clan, mistress, and investigators that I will do everything in my power to bring it back."
Good luck. And after Thunderbeak says that, it stops breathing. And from its sort of semi-opened beak pours what looks like, it sounds almost like a sigh. And you can almost see the air current flowing out of its mouth. It's got like little motes of light in it. And Cadence, it flows up to you, kind of swirls around you for a moment. And then all of the rest of you can see it goes straight up her nose and into her mouth.
God. I just reflexively sort of prestidigitate, but I don't actually cast it, just sort of doing the hand components.
Cadence, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
I'd like to roll with advantage, please.
You may
Yes!
absolutely roll with advantage.
All right.
That is real good. Okay. So essentially what happens is this artifact is inside you now. It is not something that you wear or wield in the traditional sense. And so when it enters your body, there's a moment where it's basically settling into you as its new carrier. And obviously your body does not like this and is not built to handle this. You take, hang on. So you'll only take 15 points of psychic damage as this is happening. And you can actually sort of feel it changing you. That it as it runs through you. And I'm gonna send you after this a list of all of the abilities you have gained. That being said, you can also feel, because this is such a powerful artifact, you can feel it trying to, the power trying to jump out. And the rest of you can actually see as this stuff goes up, like into Cadence, you can see like her fingertips sparking with like a little bit of lightning as the power tries to escape and get out. For the moment, you have it under control ish. It's not, you're not accidentally firing full lightning bolts out of your hand or anything. But you've of course sort of got those sparkiness at your fingertips, and then the rest of you can see there's sort of a brightness and a lightness to Cadence's eyes that wasn't there before.
Perfect. Cadence suddenly gets very rigid. Right, so I think I'd like to take a nap now. Yeah, that's all right with everyone, and we can head towards the upper center.
Could really use a nap as well, to be honest.
Oh no, my hand is still on Burback's mouth, so I'll just nod quietly. And then I'll let go.
Anyway, it looks like you can drive the ship all right, so I'm gonna go and get a nap.
Continuing to nod silently.
Is the corpse of TB still there?
It is.
Great.
Yep. The bird is still slumped over this earth moat, but it is no longer breathing.
I kind of do like a religious kind of ritual. Not anything actual. I don't think there's a ceremony for preserving a dead body.
If you have the ceremony spell, there is.
Oh, I do. All right. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Funeral Rite over it. I do actually have a spell slot for it. So it can't become undead.
Nice.
And then I will go take a nap.
Yeah, you're feeling a little jittery as you
Casting the spell. Perfect.
and yeah, even as you cast this spell, which is a simple spell, I mean, you've cast this before, you can feel the power surging. And so, even though under Funeral Rite, it's only for the next 7 days that the target can't become undead, by the time you're done casting this, you're pretty sure that that's going to last for at least a month.
Hopefully it doesn't take us a month. All right, perfect. Nap time.
Thank you very much, Jaeger Larson, for the donation there. £9.93. We'll call that a round tenner. I'm not going to squabble over 7p. I imagine that's a currency exchange or something like that. So you have an auto success to gift to a player of your choice.
And so the four of you pile back into your ship. And I think Burback and Cadence are taking naps while while Oxy and Cassandra and pilot the ship toward the epicenter. Yes?
Oxy needs a nap too. She's hurting pretty bad.
Okay, Oxy will also take a nap, so Cassandra will take
Cassandra will take a silent, slightly stunned watch while she pilots the ship.
Sure.
Just all of that just happened. All right.
Elaine,
like driving a car. That's not me. However, a ship driving looks like.
Elaine curls up at the bow, kind of quiet. And it was getting later in the day when you had arrived anyway, so the sun is sort of going down and dimming as you follow your compass. And Cassandra, you being the only person awake, about 30 minutes or so after you depart the Earth Moat, there's a rumble that, even though there's no true ground here in the plane of Earth, you hear this. It sounds almost like thunder. And then you, as you're steering your ship through all of these Earth Moats, you see one off to your right crack and just break into several pieces.
And Elaine is taking a nap?
Yeah, Elaine is awake, but she's just sort of quietly up at the front of the ship.
Does it crack with enough force that the ship moves or anything? Or
No. You see this one crack, and then off in the distance you see another one crack. And then you see a third one.
How long have they all been sleeping?
It's only been half an hour since you left the Thunderbeak.
Cassandra has been full of really good decision making this entire game. So Cassandra is going to wait because she doesn't know how stuff usually is here. That could be normal. And they all really needed sleep. And I feel very guilty about that suggestion that Elaine is a hostage, even though totally she kind of is at this point. And there is, definitely that sort of like really interesting parallel between the fact that I'm trying to rescue a friend of mine and now I've got a hostage. This is all very complicated. Oh, look, that thing's cracking too.
And that is where we're going to leave it. Having all of those thoughts and watching these Earth Moats crack while the rest of you sleep, en route to the epicenter of the elemental planes. Cadence carrying one of the 4 artifacts, the Breath of Wind.
Oh.
It's fine, y'all. It's fine.
He didn't just get the Earth Mode. It's fine. He didn't just kill the basilisk.
Amasa's fine.
It's fine.
Amasa's
We'll get-
hanging in there.
We'll save them. We'll save them. Really.
Well, everyone, we have credits to outro too, which I've obviously pre-prepared, and I'm not going to get them right now. That would be silly. So we will be exiting with credits, but please do take a moment to look at the following links, as we have things for you all to see, including social links. Do check out our Discord, Twitter, and YouTube, where you can come and be a part of the community, catch up, and all the other good things. And check out our sponsors, the Deck of Many, who make the Deck of Many things, for one, but also the Deck of Many animated things, Deck of Many animated spell cards, and their latest release will be Humblewood, which is due for release at the beginning of November. You can go and pre-order that now using the link there. Also check out Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press created the Dark Matter expansion for 5e also, which is also due for hardcover release very soon. So do check them out, and you can see us playing that game on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Everyone good?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know.
It's electric.
Exasperated yeses? Great. Perfect. Well then, in that case everyone, we'll see you next week. Until then, keep on evoking emotions. Bye.